To all you watching, it's 8:28 and I am at the Round Rock Police Department getting ready to talk to the chief and hopefully get my equipment back and get this done. I'm keeping this camera in my hand, of course, because we know we can't trust a damn one of these cops. Got 4 or 5 cops lying, so I got to keep the video camera with me. Keep it with me and stay with us. My main concern right now is, number one, getting my equipment back.
Well, let me explain what that is.
I understand.
We, yesterday, our evidence people bring a letter to me from the prosecuting attorney's office that says, hey, we want you to release this evidence to, I forget the other thing, out of Houston.
Yes.
You know, we want you to release it. This, you sold this weapon to that fella, and they want us to release it, you know.
He's my former partner. He's my best friend.
Which is cool. Okay, which is cool. But that involves us in some kind of gun transaction. My initial thing is, wait a minute, you know, we are not in the business of transferring weapons from one person to another.
And that's why I cannot understand why the prosecutor made it mandatory for me to sign it.
So anyway, so I told the evidence guy, I said, whoa, you know, we're not, I'm not even sure ATF would be pleased with us being involved in some kind of gun transaction like that. So we told evidence, look, they said the guy's going to call back. I said, fine, tell him we're looking into it. I'm not even sure ATF would be pleased with us being involved in some kind of gun transaction. If it's your stuff, we need to be releasing it to you. We don't need to be releasing it to
I felt
whoever.
that the whole way, and I expressed this to my attorney. I felt it was a slap in the face for them to say, we find you innocent in the interest of justice, but you can't have your gun back. I did no gun crime.
Well, the other piece of it, yeah, I agree, you know.
And I have documentation, 5 different statements that Mr. Roberts has made to his insurance company, my insurance company, the police, and other people.
All right, so he has a lot of different versions of that statement, but we have one piece of evidence that says that, you know, the only piece of evidence that we have pertaining to that piece of the case that says, which is his phone call, right, his statements. So if they told you no other witness statements were taken, then we only have the one.
Yes.
So it, you know, I think that, you know, that's kind of I'm trying to think about when I go and work wrecks, you know, sometimes, you know, I don't take witness statements on wrecks all the time. I mean, if it's a clear-cut case.
Rifle never came out of the car. I never...
Okay. I'm not saying, I didn't say you pointed it. In fact, he says you didn't point it at anybody. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying you pulled the rifle out and you waved it around in traffic. Nobody's saying any of that.
The rifle never came out of the vehicle.
I'm completely hearing what you said.
Said it never came out of the vehicle, yet Officer Claypool clearly states it was out of the vehicle.
No, that you said.
But yet, the officer claims that I admit to taking the gun out of the car. I did not do such a thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say other than, you know, the officer is saying, the officer's putting in his complaint. So this, you know, I know you disagree with what was said in this thing right here. Golly, that's really a matter of, you know, okay, his word, your word, so where do we go from there?
After requesting multiple times for the in-car video from the squad cars that were on scene, he was told no video exists.
Okay.
I find it hard to believe that the video cameras were not running in at least one of the vehicles.
Man, just because the video camera's running doesn't necessarily mean, well, a couple things. Doesn't necessarily mean, one, that you got anything on videotape. But the other piece of it is, well, was it running? All right, and then the third piece of that is whether or not it contained any evidence. All right, if it contained evidence, we pull those videotapes and we stick them in evidence. If they do not contain evidence, then they go in the mix with all the other videotapes. They get held for 90 days for racial profiling purposes, and then they get recycled. All of them get reused, you know. So it doesn't surprise me at all that there was no evidence on that thing. It wasn't submitted into evidence, and then they get recycled.
I would not have had those 2 charges dismissed in the interest of justice if I did not have the videotape. Because all we'd be depending on is Scott Roberts and what Officer Claypool stated.
Now, why do you think that? Okay, but I don't see where the videotape demonstrates anything. And so, anyway, maybe that was a deciding factor in this interest of justice thing. And if we're ready to go there, I'm ready to go there with you.
Well, are we getting the rifle back?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that after we talk to the prosecutor. So we're still in conversation with the prosecutor about whether or not this case is going to get prosecuted.
We need to talk to the prosecutor first.
Yeah, before you get your weapons back, we're having a conversation with the prosecutor about whether or not you can get prosecuted on this disorderly conduct case or not. So
The disorderly conduct was dropped.
I hear you, but we haven't had that discussion with Yesterday, our evidence people bring a letter to me from the prosecuting attorney's office says, hey, we want you to release this evidence. I don't believe that we have any officers that have that kind of malicious intent. You know, I think it's easy enough to find people who are violating the law and arrest those people and put them in jail. I don't think there's any grand conspiracy out there saying that, okay, well, we need to doctor how we do the photographs in order to present the best case.
There are 80 plus photos that were taken. There's only one picture of that yellow bag.
I know, but some of that
was given back. It was stuffed somewhere.
You have to understand that these days, this day and age, anybody, you know, doing anything suspicious means that we're hyper vigilant and taking photographs of everything and making sure we identify. So there being 80 photographs really doesn't surprise me very much. You know, I mean, if there, as much stuff as was in your vehicle, it really doesn't surprise me that there was 80 pictures. But because I would really expect that. You know, okay, let's do our due diligence.
Absolutely, I would have loved to see.
So it's more about documenting what was there as opposed to documenting things that were important to a case. The sequential pictures. All right, did we take a picture of the bag? Did we take a picture of what stuff in it? You know,
I would like to know why did they not take? Why did they not?
I'm assuming
do with the yellow bag as they did with every other case that was in the vehicle.
I'm assuming that they didn't think there was value in it, you know, so.
But that's the point.
Procedurally, you know, we like to do that as much, you know, we like to do a good job taking photographs. And that means that in each and every case, you try to take every step along the way. But it's a judgment call by the officers. And
poured all the ammo and everything out, and then give the yellow bag away.
That is simply as simple as saying, "Hey, where was all this ammo?" You know, an officer's going to say, "Well, it was inside that yellow. It's in that yellow bag. We took it out of that yellow bag, laid it out, photographed." So somebody's making a judgment whether it's the person taking the photograph or the officers directing the people taking the photographs, or both. You know, so.
I've spent more than $13,000 trying to defend myself against something that did not happen.
No, it did happen. Because I decide that in the interest of resolving an issue, you know, this is all about behavioral change, right? I mean, well, how come you write somebody a ticket in the first place?
No,
It's about behavioral change, right? So if I feel like that this can be accomplished by some other means, why wouldn't I do that?
What has been accomplished? What lesson has he learned? He's received no citations. He's not under arrest for false reports.
Clearly, he was found at fault in this collision. You said they used code 22, which is failure control speed.
Yes, failure control speed.
Pretty common. Okay.
But there was no citation issued to him.
Okay, well, I mean, just because you're in a wreck doesn't necessarily mean you get a citation.
I think when you destroy a car, send a person to the hospital, and 2 vehicles get towed away, that should be cited.
Well, that's your opinion. You know, you're free to have that opinion, but you know what? You're not telling me whether I write a ticket or not. You know, neither is anybody else.
Officer Claypool stated clearly that I would be seeing the judge that day.
Okay.
If he spoke to the judge...
It sounds like he thought you were.
Well, if he spoke to the judge and he thought I was, then the judge had to have known this man was just involved in a vehicle accident. I think if you would speak to the prosecutor, she would probably tell you that that photo of everything laying out was part. I just think that inflames everything. There's not accurate information being received. The officers are not taking statements from anybody other than the individual.
All right, well, we don't know that. We don't know that. All right, you said as far as you know, no other witness statements were taken, and I don't know either.
I actually came to this police department to get the accident report and asked were any witness statements taken, and they said no witness statements were taken.
All right, then I guess no other witness statements were taken. So most of your issues seem to surround about procedural deals.
Well,
you know, whether or not.
Yes, I mean
that's what I'm getting anyway. It's like, okay, there was some proof. You know, and I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily on some of it, but we leave that up to the officer. I don't tell the officer.
I understand discretion.
I don't tell, you know, you used to be a deputy,
yes,
right? I think that my behavior is more the normal behavior.